have seen a different kind of Indian, in the sense that what I saw earlier, the earlier generation, as I see the new generation, their attitude towards their own lives in USA, their sense of feeling about Bharat, both are different as compared to what they used to be in earlier year. I see a more confident new generation. I see a more outgoing Indian community which is ready to dabble in politics and social activities, going out and meeting people. So the earlier way, when they were struggling to set up their lives, right from 1980s onwards, when they were totally very few in number and struggling to put their life together, struggling to put their kids in a good pedestal in education and career. So they were busy with themselves and struggled very hard to reach where they are today. The misnomer that Indians are privileged class is totally wrong. I have seen their struggle, and everybody should actually see that struggle from where they came and why they came and where they are today. So this change of their own approach to US society, to US politics, to social life, and the younger generation is very assertive Indianness. This is what I have seen the change in the last few years. See, there are two. One is that how Indians within US look at Trump and the administration, that you know better than I, because I have talked to people who are still very strong Democrats who simply don't like Mrs. Trump, and there is new generation of Indians who feel affinity towards what Trump says and they understand what he's coming from or what he's saying. So there earlier it was very sharp division. I see the division we are now. I think that is political viewpoint, and I believe the earlier generation was more identifying with the Democrats, but the new generation seems to be coming out of it and now also endorsing the Republican Party in a big way. That's the difference I saw in these years. There is kind of dilemma, but those who are Democrats are very strong Democrats. I stayed with a friend who's hardcore Democrat and who strongly are against Trump policies. And there are Indians who see some different viewpoint. As far as India is concerned, I think the average Indian who reads newspaper or has some studied view of USA, there is a very basic understanding that USA self-interest is the biggest interest for them. They are nobody's permanent allies. So though we have good relations with Democratic presidents and Republican presidents, the feeling that suddenly USA can put a sanctions, suddenly USA companies can stop supply of something. We know the nature of COVID, when the government was bullied into trying to buy the US vaccines, which it didn't. And also we know that Tejas Air Force has not been supplied the engines for beyond the scheduled time limit. So these are some of the issues which worry Indians, whether they can have a stable relation with or reliable relation with the US government. But yes, at a people's level, Indians love America, people love Americans. They have seen the land of opportunities, they have seen how their people have prospered in America. So at a very basic democratic level, they identify with the democratic free society of America, of US. And at the same time, politically, if you look at it as a foreign policy, an average Indian is a bit of a cynical about US relationship with India over years, that people of my age actually seen the changing stance continuously. Only time it became a little stable was during the nuclear agreement, for which even BJP government worked, Congress government worked, they worked together. And that is first sign of some stability in US-Indian relations. I hope that continues. These are the things that the governors didn't highlight earlier. For example, when you talk of 123, most of the people remember Manmohan Ji's role or BJP Atal Bihari Vajpayee's role. But when you talk of 1962, not many people know that USA offered help and Nehru ji couldn't take it for whatever reason in terms of Air Force, etc. And similarly, they won't remember how it pressurized China into withdrawing in 62 or pressurizing Pakistan, because those are not put in the right perspective by the governments of those times, I would say. So it's not part of historic narrative that people know about USSR. We know that. But as I said, the question is inconsistency.
But don't you think
so 71, for example, clearly there was a violation of human rights. Just like now in Bangladesh, the Hindus and minorities are being bullied, killed, murdered, massacred, their lands taken away, and US is quiet. Why is quiet? So at the same time, when earlier it happened, it supported the despotic government of Pakistan. So this inconsistency in approach, even to human rights problems or even to problems that India faced, is what creates that kind of cynicism. No, as I said, there is no anti-US narrative at all, neither by this government, BJP government, neither by the people in Bharat. As I said, people love USA. When it comes to policy level, people have a sense of lack of trust. It is nothing to do with left. Well, left was the biggest betrayer as far as I know, 1962 war and every other serious national issue. So this has nothing to do with what left is trying to do. It is our own perception, people's own perception. So it is not that left is trying to influence the government or something. No, it is clearly what people perceive as simple, normal Indian people, and not that through political lens of Republican Party, BJP Party. That's a different ballgame. Foreign policy is a different ballgame. There, left may try to create some kind of impression that Modi ji has been to USA in every possible way. That's not true. So I will not go to the finer points of diplomacy. As I said, those are all self-interest games that countries play and the right to play. It is, I'm saying, people to people. I'm talking how people look at USA. As I said, they love USA. When it comes to any negative, sentiment about, Indian support to Indian policy or arms, etc., they are a bit not unsure. So for that, I don't think communists are at all responsible. They play around it much more. But these are open, open news, and these are open things that see as two of the biggest democracies with genuine democracy. Though you have a different system, we have a different system, but basically genuine democracy and genuine freedom of press, freedom, better, truly a true sense of freedom of every kind. I think that way there is no way but for the two countries to come together, two countries to work together, and people have very positive feeling about the USA. They have very positive feeling, in fact, for Mr. Trump, which is much more than it was last time, much more than any other Democratic president, because historically we see the Democratic presidents have generally been, anti-India in their policies. If you go through the history, though people may not remember that part of history, but people do remember that these two countries gel in every possible way in terms of multiculturalism, in terms of pluralism, in terms of freedom of religion, where we and American, democratic values are at par with each other. So there is no reason why Indians won't love USA, why Indians won't want US and work together in every possible way. And there could be irritants. That is possible for every country, but at a very larger level, there I have no doubt at all that Indians and USA need to come together, should always be together. They're together anyway. In terms of the values they share, the values they cherish, because today the kind of chaos and war-torn countries you see around, that has to stop. And he does believe, Modi ji has said many times that we should have, this is not time for conflicts. He has said it openly. And like Trump is trying to stop wars. Earlier also he did, unfortunately. He's not credited with it between Saudi Arabia, Israel. He's not credited with not starting any war during his term. So now his way of working may be disturbing to many people, but ultimately he doesn't want any business of war, which is a huge thing because USA armament industry is very strong. So that way, India and America have a role to play in India's or in the world itself. How they play out, how they can stop conflicts, work together, is for time to say. But I see no reason at all why they will not come together, should not come together, and why any Indian would grudge any kind of improved relations. See, first of all, the first term of Vajpayee of 6 years was not BJP government; it was NDA government in every possible sense.
Before that was 13 months.
Yeah, because BJP was not the ruling party truly. It was truly an alliance where every ally partner had to be taken, so much so that Ram Mandir Article 370 had to be put on the back burner. Having said that, Vajpayee is a very wonderful leader. Within those 6 years, the way he worked, he's got everybody to the direction where India progressed very well in terms of infrastructure, in terms of at least beginning with a very visionary view of India, where India will become big nation in every possible sense. Till that time, we were a timid nation, filled with self-doubt, filled with cynicism about our own self, and seeing ourselves through the Western eyes, through British eyes. That change after Vajpayee came, that was the biggest change. And then next 10 years were very, very negative for Hindus. There is Waqf Board bill which was brought in, which is typically to placate very extremist Islamist elements. Then there was communal rights bill which failed luckily, which was making Hindus as a priori accused of any riot. Then there was a right to education bill which actually excluded minorities from serving the nation, since that there are in that you had reserved seats for deprived people to get admitted to any school, which is wonderful. But in that there are exemption was made for minority institutions, while some of the best institutions are run by minorities. Why they should not take part in the nation building? So there was such laws which are brought in which are clearly anti-Hindu. We know about the even the other issues like Kashmir, where the terrorists got a free hand, where PM was seen with the terrorists shaking hands. So those are the times. Now, as far after Modi ji, definitely things have changed totally. The way world looks at Bharat, the way Indians look at the world, the way they now react to the global issues. So that self-confidence, aspirational Bharat has awoken after Modi ji has come. And he's a RSS Swayamsevak, is RSS full-time worker for long years. As far as RSS is concerned, it is wrong to talk about last 30 years, because RSS worked under extreme negative sentiments since 1947. For the work it did to save Hindus and Sikhs during partition, they were branded as communal and as violent, though they only tried to defend the community. Any other country would have actually rewarded them, recognized their valor, having sacrificed many people to save their own people's lives. It was not appreciated. From there on, it has been working in a very negative environment, neglected, abused, criticized wrongly for wrong reasons. So from there on, it has grown continuously without any government support. So growth of RSS is not because of government. For example, when Modi ji came, it was a huge wave of renaissance of the Hindu society, on the back of which Modi ji won the national verdict. He was a very strong leader, but so was Atal ji at his time, or Adani ji at time. This change in the atmosphere of the nation was the work of RSS for years together to create a kind of sense of pride in its own community. Christians can work for Christian community, Muslims can work for Muslim community, they are lauded. But if I work for Hindu community, I am called communal. I see no reason at all. So when Article 370 was an effort to create a separate set of laws, because Jammu Kashmir was a Muslim majority state, it itself actually was a fallacy of the claim that we are a secular country and we don't believe in separate laws. So when RSS backed people wanted 370 to go, they were called communal. And those people who wanted special law for minority because of minority state were called secular. So we had a very strange kind of narrative about who is secular, who is communal. In that atmosphere, RSS grew. Its work was never on the media, it was never shown on the TV. For example, in disasters, RSS has always been number one, reaching any disaster place, including COVID, without any prompting from the leadership, without any plan from the local people or from the top. They just spontaneously go and serve the people. That was never appreciated. In fact, if a TV camera came and they saw half and people of RSS working there, they would remove the camera from there. From there to reach this stage has been hard work on the ground. It is not built on any political support. It is not built on any support from any lobby or any party. It's all groundwork which is done by the RSS volunteers selflessly to create a unified, strong Hindu society with social harmony, where casteism doesn't play any role, regionalism doesn't play any role. This was the prime cause of Hindu society's downfall. To reform that society cannot be considered communal or cannot be considered extremist, because Hindu thought itself is most liberal. It is plural. We say that we respect every religion, we respect every viewpoint, every path leads to the same supreme being. And we have always encouraged reformers who came out of Hindu society, created a separate sampradaya or sect, and they were not beaten to death. So this Hindu society to be called extremist, I think is very unfortunate. But in all that, Sangha has grown. Yes, after 2014, with Modi ji's very strong image, RSS has received goodwill, no doubt. But work on the ground is not done by propaganda or publicity or goodwill. You require trained people. So trained people are being created only by RSS groundwork, and that has its own sweet time. So that is how the work grows. Right now, we are celebrating 100 years of RSS. Not celebrating because RSS doesn't celebrate. but looking for what to do. So even during this 100 years, the message is on the 100th year, work for the strengthening of the institution of family, because family is the building block for the society. Family is happy, the individuals are happy, there is less case of depression, less case of antidepressants, less divorce, and more happy society. From there on to a happy nation is the next step. So that is one thing which there is a stress on, creating the right environment so families nurture well. There is a urge for every Swayamsevak to, or RSS volunteer families, to work towards removing causes of global warming or climate change. So there have been requests to minimize the use of plastics, to create plant trees, to create gardens in the backyard, not waste water, not waste power. For a nation which is on the world itself, which is short of natural resources, this is very important message. You can have years, 30 years of Davos meetings, spending billions of dollars, wasting itself, that disturbing the environment there itself, and talking of global warming. But RSS works on the ground, so it's simple route for them. There is a appeal to work towards social harmony in every possible way. Have friends in all strata of the society, bring them home, go to their homes in the villages, to work towards creation of various, simple one cremation ground, having one temple for everybody, and also working towards social harmony in every society, in every village. So one temple, one cremation ground looks very simple for a Westerner. Why it is even an issue? But we have that issue in villages that we recognize. And we talk of having law-abiding citizens. For USA, it will be kind of a humor that you talk of law-abiding citizens, because generally everybody has seen that we abide by rules in other countries. But our country, unfortunately, we are still chaotic. So if we follow rules, if we follow laws, police will be much better equipped to work towards a peaceful and secure society, and we will also have much more peaceful society. So we need to follow the rules of law, and that should become a part of our lives. We also talk of sense of selfhood, sense of pride in what we do, and try to find solutions to our problems through Indian way of thinking. See, India has a very long knowledge history, which many people don't know, that since, if you go back to Vedas, they may be 10,000 year old or 5,000 year old, people are still debating. But we had the civilized societies, which were, where we talk of, if people know about Harappa or other new Rakhi Gadi, etc. finds, you find the kind of civilized society we had, including toilets, which were very hygienic. From there on, from this went to entirely scientific society. Today we have lost that confidence. So RSS for all this 100 has been trying to create that kind of pride, that kind of confidence in our knowledge system, and find solutions to those knowledge systems which are inherently our own genius, rather than trying to copy the other people in finding a solution.